With over 400 pounds of payload capacity, 750 watt sustained power motor, high capacity Samsung battery that gets you more than 900 charging cycles, 60 miles of range, but only takes 5 hours to recharge, and it comes with an affordable price tag. Is KBO Ranger the ultimate cargo electric bike? Let's test it today. In today's episode of the Electric Bike Review, we have KBO Ranger, a cargo electric bike. My name is SHIVASAPKOTA. This is my wife in the back, and we're going to be testing this electric bike today, not just for the load capacity. It has over 400 pounds of hauling capacity, but it also has a large, high-capacity battery. It has a powerful motor, and just a lot of features that this bike packs. We're going to be unboxing, and we're going to be getting on the road, and we're going to be testing all of those features here today. Thank you for clicking on this video. Hope you enjoy the video, and if you would like to see more videos like this in the future, please make sure you're subscribed to the channel and give this video a thumbs up. Let's get started with today's review. KBO is having one of their largest Black Friday sale this year with $200 off of one bike and $500 off if you purchase 2 e-bikes. KBO Ranger, which is already priced competitively at $16.99 for what this bike offers, goes down to $14.99 with my discount code. This is valid for just a short period of time, and if you have been thinking about purchasing a KBO e-bike, this is the best price I have seen in a while. We'll do an unboxing and initial review of the bike today, and then we'll do a long-term review of this e-bike in a few months. The bike comes very secured with lots of packaging material, and it'll definitely take you a while to remove all of the foam. This is a heavy bike, so having a help to take it out of the box is highly recommended. Let's start with the handlebar installation. You have to remove these 4 Allen screws using the tool that came with the bike so we can install the handlebar. Align the handlebar and align the handlebar groove with the middle part, and then go ahead and secure it by putting the outer plate and the 4 Allen screws we removed earlier. Adjust the handlebar as needed before fully securing the screws. For the front wheel, align the disc brake with the pads and then the front hub. Once it is aligned into its place, go ahead and insert the quick release bracket and then secure it. To install the running boards, you just have to remove the 3 Allen screws from the rear rack. Then align the running board bracket with these 3 screws holes and put the screws back to secure the board. Make sure the board is fully secured before moving on to the other side. It is the exact same thing on the other side. Remove the 3 screws, install the running board, and secure those screws. Then the pedals are really easy to install by following a conventional method. They are clearly labeled left and right, and you can use the tool that came with your kit. For the front fender and the headlight installation, insert the screw through the headlight mount, and then through the front fork and install the top fender mount. Tighten the screw and secure it. Then use the screws that came with the bike to secure the bottom fender bracket on both sides. The bike is ready. Just make sure to fully charge the bike before taking it out on your first ride. So let's go over some of the specifications of this electric bike. First of all, these large tires. I wouldn't call these tires off-road because, as you see, they don't really have any treads, right? Like, these are road tires, and you can go on the grass road and maybe even a little bit of a dirt road, but I wouldn't call this off-road tires. But the big benefit of not being off-road tires are that you can inflate this to lower pressure. That means it absorbs the bumps a little bit more compared to the full fat tire electric bike. And I like that they are 3 inches wide. So these are 20 by 3 inches. 4 inches would have been really nice, but it is unnecessary for a road tires like this. And as you see, like, I haven't fully inflated this, and you can leave it like that. And another reason is because one of my disappointment about this electric bike is that it doesn't have the front fork suspension. You're relying mainly on the tires to absorb those bumps, and that becomes a little bit difficult. We have gone through some of the bumps, especially if you have someone on the rear rack, you can really feel it. So that I hope that KBO in the future design makes at least a front fork suspension or a spring suspension of some sort so that it is easier to absorb those bumps. They're using a quick release on the front tire. Even though this bike is big and we can't really fold the bike, so making the portability slightly easier, they made this a quick release so you can just remove this front tire and then transport it easily. So they're using Tektro Aries for the disc brake for both the front and the rear, and Tektro is a really good brand. I think we had reviewed some electric bike with the Woozing brand last time, and they didn't perform as well. They were noisy. These brakes are not noisy. Tektro has never disappointed us, so good choice on that. Yeah, you see this on entry-level electric bikes these days. You know, for a bike of this size, I was hoping they included a hydraulic brakes, but again, for a sub, what is it, $1,700 electric bike, I think those disc brakes are fine for now. And this bike doesn't go, you know, crazy speed like 27 miles per hour, but hydraulic brake would have been still a good choice because of the load capacity this bike has. To remove the battery, you just have to put the key and then just turn it, then it pops out. Then you can use this little knob adjustment, and then you are able to fully remove the battery. The space is a little tight here, which is pretty typical for bikes that have this battery on the step-through portion in the frame here. And this is a very high quality 48 volt 17.5 amp hour lithium ion battery from Samsung. So you can trust on the quality of this battery. And we did some long-term reviews of the KBO Breeze last time, their other electric bike, and they were also using a Samsung battery, and the battery just held up really well over time. And I'm hoping that this battery does the same thing. We'll bring you a follow-up review on how the battery is holding up, but we typically don't see that 17.5 amp hour high capacity on a bike that is sub $2,000. Even higher than $2,000 bikes that we have reviewed in the channel, they came with a 14 amp hour battery. So for them to go to all the way to 17 is very impressive. And this is a 48 volt battery, not a 36 volt battery, but that is pretty common on bikes that are over $1,000. It comes with a 48 volt battery. Also, being able to remove the battery has a lot of benefit because then you can just take this battery inside in the winter. I highly recommend you take the battery in a room temperature and keep it there for the winter because you don't want sub-zero temperatures hitting these batteries in the garage. And the main component of this electric bike, of course, is the motor. This is a 750 watt sustained power motor, and it peaks over 1,000 watt. And this is really nice because then it gives you that hill climbing ability. This motor gets going really quickly, and overall a great choice by going 750 watt instead of keeping at 500 watt that we typically see in this price range. So this bike has the 7-speed gearing system from Shimano, and Shimano has never disappointed us. They make really great product, and they're using the Shimano Altus as the derailleur for this one. And we reviewed other electric bikes in the past that had Shimano Tourney, and that's the lowest end Shimano system. So Altus is a very common Shimano system that you find. It's kind of a mid-range system, definitely not high-end, but it does the job for this range of electric bike. They use a really futuristic looking front headlight. There are two headlights here, the double headlights. It looks like ours is tilted slightly towards the left, so we need to fix that. And while we're in the subject of light, they also have an integrated brake light here, so it makes you more visible at night. Now let's talk about the design choice of this electric bike. First of all, kudos to KBO for figuring out that step-through situation where this is a true cargo electric bike that is applicable for everybody. Another big design choice on this electric bike that I really like is the kickstand here. So this is a dual kickstand. It has the kickstand on both sides. It is controlled right here with the spring on the very middle. And as you see, this makes the bike very stable, because we have reviewed far too many electric bikes where the kickstand is very flimsy, and not this one. I mean, you could just be in the rack, and as you see, the kickstand is pretty awesome. It is not even budging. The bike is not falling. So that is a really great design choice. But because this kickstand is kind of like this at an angle, that makes this front wheel kind of rotate freely. So a design recommendation for KBO would be to add a spring right here so that it would prevent this wheel from moving, but at the same time, when you need to turn, it easily does that. Just have a spring that is connecting this part right here with this somewhere here so that it stays like this, so it doesn't do this. That's your motor controller outside, and rather than being hidden somewhere inside the frame, they made it accessible. And a big plus of that is whenever you have any issues that you need to troubleshoot, you can just remove those screws right there and you're able to troubleshoot it. This is a modular design so that if KBO needs to replace your controller, they could just send you a controller and all you have to do is remove those screws and replace the controller. They also put a lot of thought into this design because they put these intelligent installation points everywhere. So if we look at it in the front, right here is where we're gonna put the front basket when we get that front basket, and we're gonna adjust this headlight so that it fits, but they already have the space right here. Now we don't have to find one of those clamps or try to clamp it on the top of the handlebar like we would typically have to do to modify other electric bike. This already has that spot. So they made the intelligent point to install all the accessories, and it became very, very easy because when we were installing this running boards down there, it was easy because they already had a space to put that. A very great design choice in terms of that. And in our future reviews of this electric bike, we're gonna get those fences where you can put kids in the back because they are gonna be able to put their legs through the fence. So we're gonna be reviewing that as well as the front basket in our future reviews of this electric bike. Let's talk about the cockpit of this electric bike. This has very wide handlebar, and we really like that because we have complained in the past about other electric bikes having a very narrow handlebar. This really feels like a true cargo bike and very comfortable with this long wide handlebars. These handlebar grips are very comfortable. These are leather grips, high quality leathers. On the right, we have a half twist throttle. So all you have to do is pull this and then you'll get the maximum speed. So no matter what pedal assist level you are in, as soon as you pull the throttle, you'll get the maximum speed for that. And then, of course, we have this Tektro brake levers. They are very sensitive brakes. And then we got the Shimano 7-speed system here. So the gearing is really easy. We have done a lot of e-bike reviews with this same system of Shimano gearing. So nothing new here. It is a really good system that works every single time. And then, of course, here in the very middle, we have this big LCD screen, really bright. As you can see, even in the sunlight, it shows the numbers and everything that you need to see. We have our pedal assist level adjustments. So we can hit this plus and then it will go to the next pedal assist level. And then hitting the bottom one, it goes to the lower pedal assist level. And then we got our mechanical bell right here. As far as the initial performance testing, we got 23 miles per hour top speed in flat terrains. We tested the load up to 350 pounds with no issues. It held 15 miles per hour top speed at a 10-degree hill and 16 on another 10-degree hill. It did 20 miles per hour on a 6-degree hill. This is definitely above average in terms of a 500 to 750 watt motor that we have seen, because on a, let's say, a 10-degree hill, we typically only get 10 to 12 miles per hour versus 15 miles on this bike. We plan on testing this e-bike for 20 plus degree hills in our next review. At 185 pounds in early winter, I got an impressive 32 miles in mainly throttle mode with varying speed on a plain terrain. We'll also test pedal assist in the next review, as well as what does adding more load does to this bike's range, as well as the temperature, so we're going to test a lot more in the future. Here is my initial impression of the electric bike. I really like the design. High quality parts, it has a large cargo capacity, it has a lot of space. I really like the removable high power battery with the long range, and a highly rated company with warehouses in both US and Canada. Many of my subscribers have told me about their positive customer service experience with a real phone number to contact them. If you check their website and their social media sites, you'll see a lot of happy customers with pictures of their KBO e-bikes. Here are a couple of my dislikes. I don't like that it does not have an active front fork suspension. That suspension always helps with observing those shocks on the road, and don't get me wrong, the tires do a good job for this bike, but I would have still preferred to have an active front fork suspension. A 1000 watt motor would probably have been a better choice given how much cargo capacity this bike has, so that we can maintain a speed, a larger power while still hauling that cargo. They should also consider adding hydraulic brakes on the future versions. Especially for such a large cargo capacity, hydraulic brakes makes more sense. And then I think they should sell optional fat tires with true off-road capabilities with larger treads, and probably go with the 4-inch tires wide, so that if people are constantly taking this electric bike for a true cargo purposes, going camping or off-roading, then they would at least have an option to purchase this bike with those off-road capability tires. So let's bring today's review to an end. We both rode this electric bike. We both just really liked it. But as I review a lot of electric bikes in this channel, I could easily have a blind spot of certain things. And that's why I wanted my wife to test this bike out fully with me today. And we're gonna bring you out with more review in the future about this bike. We're gonna do a long-term review of this electric bike just to see how the range holds up over time. This is just the first couple of times we rode it. We felt great. What does it do next month? So stay tuned for another long-term review of this electric bike in a couple of months. We're gonna further test it, put it through some higher hill climbing abilities, and then we're gonna make another video. What about this electric bike that you just really liked?
I actually really enjoyed riding this bike. It felt very strong. It felt very secure while riding it. I love the fact that it's a step through. I easily get in, quickly get on, ride it, beautiful ride. Then when I'm in the back, I also feel very secure, very safe. I don't feel shaky at all. I even feel like I could do no hands and not feel like I'm about to fall off. It's very safe in the back and while riding it. I really like the handlebars also.
Yeah.
That they're wide, they're long, and I feel very secure with that. And also the brakes. I really felt safe with the brakes.
Talk about the step through, and you have another bike that you really like. It is that Okai EB50. We call that the Okai Ranger when we reviewed it, I think several months ago, and since then that has been your favorite bike. You take it to the trail, but then I saw that for the last couple of days you have been taking the KBO Ranger in your morning when you're going to the park to ride the bike. What do you think are the differences between that bike and this bike, and do you have a favorite?
I think I do prefer this one, honestly, just because it does have that step through, so I can in the morning just quickly get on, and while riding it I just feel safer in a way with this one. I think the size is appropriate. It's a bit smaller than the other one.
True.
And the tires are, I think, just as good. But the braking, I think, is another thing, and also the ability to change the speed.
As I said earlier, we're both gonna keep testing this bike from different perspective. I like technology on bikes. She likes the comfortability of the bike. So we're gonna all mix it together and then give you an honest review of this electric bike. We're gonna keep testing it, and stay tuned for another review going forward. Hope you liked today's review. Please be a channel subscriber if you enjoyed today's review and found it helpful. And if you'd like to see more videos like this in the future, give this video a thumbs up. And we'll be back again with the follow-up review of the KBO Ranger. Overall, this is a great electric bike.